Good evening, and what? Yeah, you're not mic'd up. You're not mic'd up. You're not on.
Is this thing on?
It's yes. It's
Is
on.
it on?
It's on.
Is it on?
It's on.
Is it on?
It's on. Let's get it on. Ah, yeah.
And now we're on.
And now we're on.
Can you hear me?
We're live. It's not Memorex.
Live.
So good evening, everyone. Today is Wednesday, August 15th?
15th, yes.
15th. I am Dominion.
I am Epic.
And welcome to the BGKH Show.
Yay!
That is the show for the blacks,
What you talking about?
the gays, hey girl, the kinky people, hey girl, and all of the humans.
Even the ones with dandruff.
Oh, I was going to say it was Lynn,
yeah,
but
I
I
mean,
think dandruff.
yeah,
Oh,
we'll talk about that.
we are coming to you exclusively from the studios of Vox Power 373 in Tony Beverly Hills East. East Suitland, yes.
Tony Beverly Hills East.
Yes.
Okay.
So, how was your week?
My week was excellent.
Good.
It was very, very excellent. I had some family in town. We were able to hang out. He was in the studio
Yes.
with us. We wound up going up to Philadelphia.
How was that?
It was great. We went up to see the Scorpion Show.
Yes.
So the 10-year reunion of the Scorpion Show. And shout out to them for having it at the Free Library and doing their whole thing. And it was a great time. So we had a really good time. I was laughing because as we walked into the damn into the library, we hadn't even got 5 seconds in or 5 feet into the damn library as we were walking down the steps. It was like all these females were waiting in line. They were like, James. I was like, bitch, are you a celebrity? Is that what I'm like? Are you really a celebrity? So all of these YouTubers that like were just there, like, oh my God, it's so nice to meet you. And I was like, really, Chef? Like, really? This is how you doing it? I mean, I'm happy for him, but I was
Did he
like,
have shades on and everything?
Listen.
He was like, no paparazzi.
He
no
just
paparazzi.
walked down the steps.
I really just want to be a regular person. Could you hold this, please?
He
Epic?
was holding court with everybody, shaking hands, kissing babies, doing everything. And I was like, okay. I mean, listen, I'm happy for him. And I know he's large
Right.
in the community, but it was like, really, they were,
That's good.
It was very good. I mean, the Scorpion Show, they gave us shout outs and they were like, oh my God, I see people in the audience. They were like, James Caldwell. And I was like, well, okay. Like,
Well, hallelujah.
So, I mean, good for you. So, and I actually went on his YouTube channel one night. We were sitting in the house. We got bored for like 30 minutes and went on. So just sitting there talking. This is your show. So I was like, I'm just here just answering questions with you. But it was fun. I had a great time. Spent a lot of time with them. Went up to Philly for the Onyx Bar Night as well.
How was that?
It was a bar night, typical bar night.
Did anybody get really fucked up and pass out?
Not from Onyx.
Not from Onyx.
No, not
okay.
from Onyx.
Well, that's all I care about.
We did, however, go into the Wendy's that was around the corner.
And the
around
girls
the
were carrying
corner.
it.
Listen, anytime you walk into a Wendy's at 0 dark at night and there's water on the floor, you know it's going to be some fucked up shit. You can't figure out where the water's coming from, why the water's even there. And even if it is water, you just can't figure out what it is. You're like, okay, we gotta get this started. And right down in Philadelphia where the bike stop is, that neighborhood we call it the Gayborhood. Listen, everything and everybody comes out. So you had all the gays, all the trans men and women that were out. I mean, it was like a whole bunch of shenanigans, and it just reminded me of my youth growing up in Philadelphia and hanging out during that time. So people were arguing, people were trying to start a little bit of mess, and I was like,
You love that kind of shit.
listen, I was like, can I just get my chicken tenders and please with the extra sriracha sauce? I'm ready to go, thank you. But I mean, it was
Yes.
good though.
And we
It was
know
good.
how much you love that kind of shenanigans.
Listen, if it's
You
gonna be
know.
shenanigans, let it be good. So,
Right.
but it was
'cause, you know,
good.
I am the kind of person that's like, I'm in the corner like,
You're in the corner like what?
I'm in the corner like, videoing it.
Oh,
but, you know,
okay. I just want to make sure. Okay, because no, you are in the moment. Okay.
I mean, I'm not saying I want to leave right away. I just, I just don't want to be in the crossfire. That's all I'm saying.
I'm trying not to be as well, so I
Right.
just stand back. So I just watch. But it was a good week for me. How was your week?
The week was fine. Mostly uneventful, which is that's fine too. Maybe I may be on the cusp of a professional announcement.
Cool.
Soon, but I don't want to be like these other kids. And listen, other people's relationship to social media is entirely different from mine. So every time I have an interview or someone says hello to me, I don't want to post it on social media because then when it doesn't happen or whatever, I don't want to follow up and then feel like I got to report everything. So, and plus, I've had shit not go right. So I really don't want to say nothing until I get that first check. But I mean, I'm going to say something once I at least get an offer letter. So I ain't got no offer letter yet. So I'm not going to get real excited until they start talking some dollars. So,
Dollars make sense.
Yes. So, I'm happy. I'm excited about, some potential opportunities. But again, until I have an offer letter with some dollars.
Okay. Is it I'm gonna play 2 questions instead of 20. Is it in the same field as you currently are now professionally?
It's still management consulting, yes.
Okay. All right. Would it be on the other side as opposed to where you are now with this organization? Because on the one side you have the full-time people, and then the other side you have the contractors.
As a government employee?
Yeah.
No, honey, because so let's just be clear. I am beyond the point where I could transition into government service.
I just
because they'd have to bring me in as an SES.
Okay.
To make as much money. I mean, and I am not being a braggart about how much money I make or whatever, but beyond a certain point as a contractor, if you want to maintain that salary, even as they'd have to bring you in as just like as a 14 or as a 15 or as an
right
at my salary as an SES, and that just doesn't happen. They don't, unless you're like unless you're like an appointee,
right.
Political appointee. And I don't know nobody in this administration. There's no way in hell I would want to come in as an appointee of this administration. And while I am gifted, I mean, they would do that if you were like some sort of a preeminent professional. And I mean, I'm good at what I do, but I'm not bullshitting myself. And I'm not a preeminent professional in my area. So no, it is not that. Mm-hmm. And I've moved beyond that because
because as they say,
girls get trapped.
Yeah, I was about to say, as they always say, there's always a good job at the post office. I'm just saying.
Listen, I want to be able to cuss a bitch out and be like, and I have a new job.
Well, yeah, then there's that.
So,
there is that.
So there's that. This weekend, after traveling and moving and traveling and going and being on the move pretty much every weekend since the middle of May, I had absolutely nothing to do and nowhere to be. I had no food in the house except a half gallon of cranberry juice, some old cheese, and
gotta clean the urinary tract.
Apple cinnamon bread. I mean, there's like odds and ends,
right.
But there was like not really any food. There's plenty of frozen food, right. But so I went grocery shopping, bought some stuff to fix up the spare bedroom, and just did
That's
nothing.
Right. Spare bedroom. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Well, it's not really spare because I'm fixing it up for the kid.
Well, okay.
So so now that's so he can get out of my office. So I found the cutest little lamp. That's I have a terrible.
Were you in Home Goods?
I was at TJ Maxx. I didn't even go to. If I had gone to Home Goods, it would have just been terrible. I have a terrible TJ Maxx, Home Goods, and Marshall's addiction. And I found these cute little lamps, $20 a piece with a pull cord on it. They're the perfect bedside lamps because when you're about to go to sleep, you just pull it. You don't have to reach up and twist nothing or do anything. They're perfect. And they were for the guest bedroom, but I really should put these in my room.
Well, then there's that.
So anyway, so I did that. And then Yeah, so, but right now I am tired.
Oh, trust me, I know.
I am tired because I got up this morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, popped right up out of the bed, and went to the gym.
What time was this?
5 o'clock in the morning. Yes. AM. 5. So, because, I kept saying, to my doctor and to everyone, it was like, I can never find time to go to the gym.
I hate this antiquated goddamn thing. I hate it. Oh,
God,
I hate it.
That laptop is like,
Ooh.
girl, is that actually a laptop or is there like a tiny monkey in there that's like drawing shit on the backside of the screen? Fred Flintstone style.
Oh, God. Oh, I can't stand you right now. I can't stand you right now.
Does he have like a little earpiece? It's like recording.
I can't stand you right now.
And then it's like an army. It's an army of sea monkeys just like drawing backwards on the screen.
Oh, I can't stand him.
So like yesterday, so I said I was going to, so it started on Monday. So I said, all right, I want to cut back on the amount of medications that I take to manage various health challenges or whatever. It really started last week. I was like, okay, when we went to Six Flags, Busch Gardens, and I felt like that was real progress, that I could get on all of the rides and everything.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well,
and it was a lot of progress, because on top of that, there was a lot of walking that day.
Yeah, and I felt fine.
Lot.
I felt fine, and then I handled I had plenty of energy later that night. We'll just say that.
Okay.
Yes. And anyway, so I said, all right, so we're going to start, going to the gym regularly. You're going to go 5 days a week. I'm not going to bullshit myself. I'm not going to completely change my life. And, so I've said, Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to eat whatever I want within reason. But, I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week. So I said, Monday, I'm going to get up 5 o'clock in the morning, go to the gym. 5 o'clock in the morning came, I saw that, and I was like, girl, fuck that. I ain't going. That's not happening. Tuesday morning, I was like, yeah, I'll go Tuesday evening. And then Tuesday evening came, and I started doing stuff around the house.
Which kind of made up for it.
Right.
Possibly.
And it kind of, but then I said, well, the real problem is that in the evening, it's not that I'm just sitting around doing nothing mostly.
Right.
It's that time is usually the only free time that I have to do stuff. So the only time that I really have some time to do something is in the morning. So I said, well, I'll get up a little earlier. And I still go to bed around about 10 o'clock. So if I go to bed around 10 and get up at 5, that's still 7 hours of sleep. So, I'm doing all right. So we'll see. So that was one day. So we'll see ask me again next week and see how many days I've gone to the gym between now and next week. So
listen, I have no problem going to the gym. When I go, because right now I haven't been to the gym in probably
a while,
2 years, probably. Yeah,
a moment.
Yeah, and I don't even figure out I can't even figure out what it is. It's just not in my spirit. But when I go, I'd prefer to go in the evenings after work, because it kind of like I want to do everything I need to do before I go home and sit down. Because when I sit down, I sit down. Like I enjoy sitting down and having nothing to do. Like I've done everything I need to do for the day, and I'm done. That's how I feel. But some people, feel differently. They want to start their day off, get stuff out early in the morning. I'm not an early morning person. That's just not me.
There's never a time where I'm gung-ho to go to the gym. So it's like I gotta go. And if I want to
it depends
realize some changes in my life, it's like, all right, when is the best time for me to go? And there's too many excuses, both good and bad, to go for me during the evening hours, and it just seems to be less in the morning. So we'll see.
Okay.
So anyway, so we'll see how long I can keep it up. The problem is that my job is incredibly boring. So then the challenge is staying awake during the day, because I don't have anything to do most of the time. So I'm sitting fucking around on Gizmodo and Facebook all day trying not to fall asleep. I mean, there's work to do,
right,
but it's like slow and steady. So it's not anything where my mind has to be like focused right on a task where I need to be, working on something that requires, brain power.
Right. Well, the other part I was going to ask you was when you're going to the gym. So you're obviously doing personal stuff in that you are doing weightlifting or
Well, right now I'm,
whatever,
just
by yourself and not in a group exercise.
Yeah.
Because for me, when I go in the evenings, and even sometimes in the morning, like because I have gone in the morning, it is known to have happened every now and then. I like the group exercise because it gives me. First of all, I hate lifting weights. I think it's the most boring thing ever. I'm one of the people that don't want to listen to music while I don't need anything on my body to carry. Like to have my iPod on, I was music. I just want to go in, sweat, get my stuff on, and then roll out, and I'm done. And I like to do that in a group fitness situation, especially when it's like a cardio fitness or like a training, cross training type of situation, because I get to do different things and I'm not bored. For me, that's what works. So,
I like listening to music, and I'll like put on one of these house music podcasts and just mindlessly walk or do whatever. I hate those group fitness classes because I don't want to be paying attention to you, whatever. And I don't have a problem necessarily with lifting weights, but I hate doing that because it distracts from the music. Because then I'm like, and then I'm like, shit, where were we? And then I forget what the hell I was.
Like I was on
with the beat.
I was on 80. That's what I was.
Right.
And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 85. Yeah, there we go.
Right.
Done.
So but I do have an app because one of the things. Okay, there we go. One of the things I do like the battle ropes. Have you ever used the battle ropes? I love those battle ropes.
Listen, you stand there, plant them feet, you get to
those battle ropes. And I have an app that does helps you do reps.
Okay.
So you can do a thing where you it works with time. So you can do like 2 minutes and then 30-second rest and then 2 minutes and whatever. So that works for something where you're just mindless. You can do like reps and just take a rest period. So that works with the battle ropes where you could just do that for 2 minutes and then just take a break and then whatever. So
I do like that. I like them. So
yeah.
But
anyway, so yeah, so that's that. So and good times.
Good.
Oh, shout out to Rubio.
Oh my God!
Today is his birthday.
Your birthday.
Yes. So the only man that I allow to. That's too close to the song. We don't have the rights to that song.
Oh, well, happy birthday, Rubio.
Yes, happy birthday, Rubio. And thank you for providing my leather goods.
Somebody has the rights to that song to happy birthday?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So that's why, like, if you ever watch Wendy Williams, she's like, we can't sing Happy Birthday because someone owns the right. So, like, when they do it on, like, big shows like Jimmy Fallon, I mean, NBC can afford to pay for that. But, and whoever owns that, I mean, they know that song is worth a grip because everybody wants to use it. So, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Hey, Red.
So that was my week. Let me see anything else exciting coming up. Oh, what's going on? I feel like your slow ass computer is overtaking mine because I never had problems with.
So now you're gonna say my computer is infecting your computer or something?
It is.
Is that what I'm saying? Is that what I'm saying?
Sucking up all of the.
It's
sucking up all of the bandwidth.
Listen, so I mean,
it
sounds like your computer just might be a little shit. That's all.
No.
It is a little shit. I mean, I'm just saying.
No, my computer's fine. I mean, we've never had this problem before. Only when you bring in,
So you might want to talk to
Computer
the studio about that.
When you bring in Computersaurus Rex, do we have problems with?
Listen, Brunhilde is fine. She does exactly what I need her to do when I decide to jump on her every now and then. And so that's all that I'm going to say about her. It's been a minute. I can't even remember last time. What has it been? Like maybe, was she? She's what, 4 years old? Whatever. She's 4 years old. I'm okay with that. Am I going to get another one? Eventually. But do I need to get one now? Nah. Probably because I also have my iPad. So that's a whole other story.
Yeah. But I mean, I have like 100 computers in my house, so.
Yeah, so I'm not really complaining.
Anyway, so what we're going to talk about today?
So let's talk about a few things. Have you heard about this Chicago bait truck that they had?
I have.
Okay. So here's the thing. There was an article and it's been a video actually that's been going viral. Mm-hmm. And this, according to CNN, they had they talked about this viral video that went, that showed this bait truck that was used by police to lure potential thieves. Mm-hmm. And it said, now the video was shot by Charles McKenzie, and apparently in the video, what you didn't see in the video was that the unmarked truck was pulled over by police officers, and they appeared to be arresting the driver of the truck, and they left the truck there. Mm-hmm. So then they left this truck there with all these items inside of it, like brand new sneakers and like all these very high priced items that were there. And so when people came by to look at this truck that was parked on some random street, and people started being curious, whether it was because something was written on the side or whether it's because they're just straight up thieves, they broke into the truck. And the moment they broke into the truck, the police were coming out and they were just bam, 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 bam on them and arresting them. The problem is they were doing this in certain neighborhoods.
Of course.
Their socioeconomic status might not have been as high as some other neighborhoods. And so they said the truck was part of a surveillance program nicknamed Operation Trailer Trap. And it used to target individuals who had been breaking into freight containers and rail yards, specifically with Norfolk Southern in Chicago. The rail company has its own police force, but they also decided to use the city of Chicago's police force, which for me tells me that you using the city of Chicago's police force, then you already want some problems and some issues. Right. But you know, I believe there are men in blue and men and women in blue. So,
so why did they say they needed to do this now?
Why did they say they needed to do what?
Why did they say they needed?
Because Norfolk Southern, a freight company, was having problems with people breaking into their freight and stealing their merchandise.
Okay.
So that was why they initially contacted the Chicago police.
Okay.
But then the police then they called it Operation Bait Truck and did it close to their freight yards, but not in their freight yards, just on a random street.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Chicago police, I think you need to do better.
Yeah. So, do you have anything more to say? Because you know I've always got thoughts.
No, please. This is. I'm just bringing. Listen, I'm bringing the article. I'm. Let's talk. This is coffee talk. Let's talk.
So here's my thing. I as a rule, you know, I'm always leery of these things. And, you know, so, you know, if there's some logic that you can present to me, then okay. So when the company says that they are having problems with people stealing their merchandise, I can get that. And so if you are trying to catch a ring of thieves who are breaking into freight containers, then you have dummy freight containers set up, even if you got the same Nikes and expensive goods or whatever on the grounds or right in front of wherever they keep their trucks, that's fine. But to set it up in a random neighborhood full of, let's be blunt, full of Negroes,
young black kids,
and probably Latinos, so we'll just say full of Negroes and Latino people, is profiling,
absolutely,
and prejudicial,
absolutely,
because despite the fact that you have actually caught some people, and all you have done is taken advantage of the natural human predilection of a certain percentage of any population to do shady shit. In the suburbs where 90% of the people are white, just because they ain't stealing from that Nike truck, you best believe they are, you know, skimming off of the books at their jobs or doing some other shit. So let's not pretend like there is no crime in other neighborhoods. They just are different kinds of crime, and that the rates of crime are, you know, that wildly different. So it's the same thing as like, okay, if you have a problem with, let's say you have a problem in a particular neighborhood with break-ins, people breaking into cars.
Right.
So you set up a decoy bait car specifically with the intent of catching car thieves.
Absolutely.
I'm down with that. And I don't care if the neighborhood is black. If
Right.
if it's a neighborhood of black people, but the thing is, you know, they have a particular problem, a rash of car burglaries, and you set up a sting in this neighborhood based on local statistical data of what's going on in that neighborhood, that's fine. But to just randomly say, oh, black people steal, so we're just going to set up a car in this random neighborhood full of people of color, that's a real problem for me.
Yeah.
And especially in a city like Chicago, where there's already rumors, and not just rumors, but, you know, more than rumors
Facts.
of off the books police
Facts are facts.
detention centers and things like that, and all kinds of foolishness going on. No, no. I just have a real problem with it. So yeah, the fact that they caught a few people, yeah. So,
And
but
some-
listen, if you, let me tell you. So you did that there, but if you put a bag full of cash, or you put an unsecured bank account around some of these other people, you best believe that account will be fucking drained. Let me
Listen.
tell you, I don't want to
can think
stereotype
of-
of people's names, but you know, Bob and Sally and all of them, and you know, they're sitting around at lunch, like, you know,
Like, you know, an unsecured
it is an
account, man.
unsecured account with
So if we just
$100,000.
slide this
If we
over,
just slide, if all we got, all we gotta
we
do,
can split it and keep it
keep
moving.
and won't nobody
Yeah.
be the wiser.
I-
History has already proven that. So let's not pretend like other people don't steal, don't take advantage of a criminal opportunity when they don't think that they'll get caught.
Yeah. And my problem with this whole operation is it's actually entrapment, because again,
It's entirely entrapped.
just because the rail company was having, the freight company was having issues with their stuff, I feel like you should have actually done that in their freight yards.
Right. So how is
in
right?
their,
So how
in
is
their
that
vicinity?
How
And
is
now-
that making their rail facility more secure?
Right, and even in this article, it didn't even say that they were even close to the rail facility, the freight facility. That's what kind of got me. So I was like, well, wait a minute, like what you've ran with this idea, and it's evolved into something wrong.
Right.
Like just all the way wrong.
All the way.
Speaking of something evolving all the way wrong, let's talk about your girl Omarosa. I didn't want you to break out into like hives or nothing.
I don't have any hives. I mean,
So
I have lots of opinions. I mean, listen, no one that watches this show should be surprised to find that I have an opinion on this or anything else. But my opinions sometimes are in conjunction with others, and sometimes are different. So please,
So here's
lead
the
off
thing.
the discussion.
So, but wait a minute. So recently, Omarosa has been fired by.
Well, she was fired
she
back
was
in January.
Well,
She's been in the news.
she's been in the news recently because she was fired, and after being fired, it's been this back and forth firestorm, if you will, of accusations. And you know, at this particular point, President Trump is, oh my God, I just put those two words together. 45 is
I have made a studious attempt not to say
oh my
those two
gosh.
words together.
Oh my gosh. 45 has actually been going ham, as we already know, with his Twitter and his social media. So he tweeted.
Just for a second, I just love that every detail of this shirt picks up beautifully on the screen. It's the prostate. See, that's a prostate. There's the bladder. That's the rectum, and that's a finger. See, anyway, I'm sorry. So you were saying.
So anyway, so I was saying that.
Speaking of anuses.
Well, yeah. So while Omarosa is not one of those people that I think the African American, well, I shouldn't even just say the African American community. I'm going to say probably the majority of the community, specifically the African Americans, are probably not going to invite her to the family cookout. I think in these last couple of days, with the release of what the White House press secretary was talking about how the White House press secretary, Sarah Sanders, said that she could not offer a guarantee that the president has never been recorded using the N-word, which is the accusation that Omarosa has actually put out and talked about, and actually I thought she spoke about in her book as well. But for me, that's a problem.
I mean, but is that though?
Problem.
Is that really? I mean,
now?
I mean, first of all, if she gave such a guarantee, that's a lie. That is just a lie. Based on everything that he has said to this point, it would actually be a shock if there wasn't a tape of him. And I just automatically assume that even if this is a young child, I mean,
listen,
I don't want to assume that every white person has at some point said nigger, but of a certain age and based on everything that we know about him, and like Don Lemon was saying today, what of it?
Yeah, I think
that's not going to lead to him. Listen, this is what I said on online yesterday. I was like, unless it leads to his resignation, not impeachment, because impeachment don't mean shit. They impeached Bill Clinton and then he served for another 3 years. Yes. So unless it leads to his resignation or them bodily carrying him out of the office, it don't mean shit. All of this is just, because it's unlikely to like literally uncover he's not going to be recorded. You're like, I killed that bitch. I mean, it's not going to be that kind of revelation.
Right.
But what's going to happen is, because he has zero self-control, is that he's going to he's going to be frustrated. He's going to get in front of Mueller and he's going to tweet something and say something that's going to put him in legal jeopardy that he's not going to be able to walk back.
So I think he's on his way. He's on his way though, because listen, Omarosa is playing the role of a scorned woman, and so she's releasing all this crap, and he is playing the role of like the bratty wannabe tyrant.
He already went through this when the last book came out. All he needs to do is turn his Twitter off and be president. So you're the most powerful man in the world. Why are you concerned at all with what this woman who used to work for you says about you? That's because you're small and you're petty.
Right. So I agree with you on that. So according to this ABC News article, they said that he's quoted as saying, when you give a crazed crying lowlife a break and give her a job at the White House, I guess it just didn't work out. Good work by General Kelly for quickly firing that dog. Trump is what he tweeted.
Right.
Really? So then now we're into, and we talked about this earlier, now we're into the fact that you are calling this woman a dog.
Yes.
Okay.
Which, I feel like people, at least on
we're
Facebook.
Half a step away from a bitch.
Right. I mean, people were saying that I was condoning him calling her a dog. I was like, I was not condoning that at all. But you can have a problem with something but reserve your outrage for other people, because Omarosa is not some innocent victim.
No.
She's not someone who...
She is many things.
She's not Rosie O'Donnell being called a dog, or, the woman who was in the Miss Universe pageant being called a dog, who were innocent victims of this tirade. She knew who this man was. If allegedly he used the N-word while they were on The Apprentice.
Absolutely.
So she knew what this dude was back in 2012. Right. She knew what this dude was all the way through all of those times and through the campaign. She knew who he was when she told she got on Frontline on PBS and told everybody that we were all going to have to bow down before him and all this other foolishness. She knew who he was all of this time, and she knew enough of who she was that she recorded what appears to be just about every conversation that she had with him. You don't record conversations unless you don't trust people.
Well, so
seriously. Honestly. Have you ever recorded a conversation with me?
No.
Have you ever recorded a conversation with any of the people that you work with? He's like,
this job? Well, no.
Honestly, even for jobs that I don't like, people, it was just never
3 jobs ago? Yes.
Okay. I mean, I have kept records and I have kept emails, but I have never felt the need.
Oh no, I went right on and recorded the fuck out of that conversation.
Oh, okay, well, well, I take that back. When I worked for the FDA, that bitch was psycho.
Yeah, well, yeah,
psycho.
Listen,
so we did record that because we knew that bitch couldn't be trusted. She had already gotten 3 teens before us fired, and they weren't able to articulate how crazy she was. So we recorded our meetings with her, and then it just so happened that our boss was on the conference call with us when she was on the phone, and she didn't know that he was on the phone, and he heard the way that she was talking to us. He was like, "She talk to y'all like that all the time?" And then he let her know that he was on the phone, and he was like, "We are ending this call right now." And in fact, I will be talking to the Corps tomorrow, because it was just entirely unprofessional. But anyway, my point is, you don't record conversations unless you don't trust people.
Right.
So she knew who he was all this time. And so while I don't condone anyone being called a dog, a black woman, any woman being called out of their name, this is shit she brought on herself, because she knew what kind of person she was working for.
And that was my ending, my final question. It was like, you know what? Are we, the community, specifically African Americans, all saying like "told you so" or "that's what you get"? Probably.
Yeah, that's what you get.
That's where we are, Omarosa, and unfortunately,
I mean, it's a fucked up situation. Yes, it is terrible, but I mean, I'm not going to march on your behalf. I'm not going to write a letter. I'm not going to.
Will she be at the family cookout?
No.
Maybe in 50 years when she,
listen,
but again,
if something that she does can lead to his arrest and resignation from office, then I might slide her that last old fucked up corner, rib, with the one little gnarled ass piece of gristle on the end.
That's extra burnt.
And when there's almost no macaroni and cheese left, you gotta scrape the pan to get that. Yes, I'll do that for her. But until then, no. And again, she's not a victim. There's nothing about the situation in which she's a victim.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Listen, Omarosa, good luck. With
good luck, girl.
Whatever your endeavors are. Good luck.
What did Angela Rye say? Skin folk ain't kinfolk. But listen, I'd already learned that lesson. I learned that lesson, sadly, freshman year of college, because I went to Florida A&M University thinking we all black, we all here, whether we are students or faculty, and we all on the same page. And I quickly learned by the time I left there at the end of my freshman year that just because we are all black don't mean we are all black. So your being black does, if you do some stupid shit, you're out there on your own.
Speaking of stupid shit, let's jump on this.
Okay.
Let's jump around. So I find this absolutely, I don't know how I feel about it, but so remember Usher had this whole issue with the, I'm going to call it herpes gate.
Yes. And yes, I remember that.
So he apparently now has been ordered to turn over his medical records, according to this Ebony article, that for the last 2 years. Let me just see. I want to quote it correctly. And yes, my computer source Rex is acting up. So, yeah, a federal judge.
Oh, including a man. Yeah, I forgot that he was accused of.
It wasn't a federal judge. So the Jasmine brand reported that a Los Angeles judge has ordered the Atlanta crooner to hand over his medical records, information about his doctors, treatments, and insurance information. The 39-year-old has 1 month to do so, and the information will be used by his accuser to prep for the upcoming trial. So it is by the 2 young ladies. One is anonymous, and the other one's name is
the big girl that everybody was fat shaming.
Yes.
And they was acting like she was, Usher was too attractive, or she was
Quantasia Sharpton. That was her name.
Her name was not standard, was not a standard name. But it was more than that. It was that the assumption was, because of the way that she looked, that she shouldn't be able to get someone like Usher. And I was like, big girls Lots of dudes like big girls.
Yes, indeedy.
I mean, you
Yes,
know,
indeedy, duty, rooty, duty.
the world is replete with children born to big women's. I mean, you know, so
Yes.
plenty of people like them, and you just
So,
be clear, it's because
it was
at least they fucked them. So let's just, you know.
Well, yeah. One anonymous man is actually also included in this trial or in this.
He won't
case that's
remain
going
anonymous
on.
alone.
He
for
won't.
long.
He won't remain anonymous. So I just find this interesting. So I mean, talk about some old fucked up shit. I mean, Usher. I mean, I think the whole situation is just kind of fucked.
Well, you know, it's fucked because it's entirely unnecessary.
I believe so.
It's entirely unnecessary with both the women and the men, because if you got enough money to be in treatment.
Well, yes, you have enough money to be in treatment, but for this particular thing, it's not really a cure.
But you have enough money to be in treatment and be educated and know that when you're having an outbreak, that you can't be fucking people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you have enough money to be on the cutting edge of, you know, treatment. And I mean, I don't know enough about herpes to know, but I'm sure there's got to be like some drugs that help suppress whatever.
Listen,
you know, don't get me to talking about things I don't know.
There's plenty of things out on the market.
Know about, but you know, so there's no excuse for it. And so
there's plenty of things out there in the market.
I hope they get their day in court.
Yeah. On to some sad news. Aretha Franklin.
Yes.
The Queen of Soul actually is not doing well.
Yeah,
and
that's
according to
very
CNN, the 76-year-old singer is apparently in a hospice right now. Mm-hmm. And so she's being surrounded by family and friends. Stevie Wonder has actually gone through to kind of meet with her and talk with her. They said she's surrounded by love and the world is sending prayers. Beyonce and Jay-Z on the Run tour actually dedicated one evening, or they sent their prayers out to her, saying to wish her well. So I cannot imagine a world without Aretha Franklin right now, because she's been a permanent part of, for me, music in some way, shape, or form. And although her music is still here, and she's still putting out, you know, decent enough music, I just can't imagine a world without her. So, well wishes to her and her family, and hopefully she will not suffer through anything that may or may not happen. So,
yeah. Favorites, top favorite Aretha songs?
So, Dr. Feelgood or Mr. Feelgood? Mm-hmm. Is it Dr. Feelgood? Dr. Feelgood.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Feelgood. Chain of Fools is one. Mm-hmm. Rocksteady is another. Mm-hmm. God. The song that she did with Lauryn Hill, I actually liked. A Rose is a Rose. A Rose is still a Rose. I kind of like that as well. But I can listen to all of Aretha's old stuff, period. Mm-hmm. Because even when she sang Say a Little Prayer for You, because I think Dionne Warwick did that as well. Am I correct?
But she did it first.
Well, no. But I'm just saying the song itself is amazing, and so I like when she does it. So I mean, those are some of my favorites by her, and also my all-time favorites from her were definitely on that Sparkle soundtrack. Mm-hmm. Riri spat all over that track. She just spat and shit all over it. I loved it. So that's mine. What about yours?
Well, you know, I'm an old sit in the bathtub with a
glass of
wine and slit your wrist over a relationship going bad. So, you know, my favorite Aretha song is Ain't No Way.
That is another one. Yeah, that is.
Because that's her sisters that's singing backup, right?
The sister wrote all the songs.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's one of the favorites. You know, I love her old gospel song, Lazarus. Oh, the song isn't called Lazarus. It's called Mary, Don't You Weep.
Right, I heard that, but I heard her, yeah.
That song, listen, you know, I don't even go to church. I don't even really believe much in that. But every time I hear that song, when she says, she said, if you had been here, my brother wouldn't have died. I just be like,
damn lint, stuff in the air.
Dust, particles in the air. And so those are probably my two favorite. But you know, she also, there was one year, I think it was at the Grammys, Luciano Pavarotti was supposed to sing
Yes, God.
Nessun Dorma.
Yes,
and
God.
he had a cold or something. And they were like, Aretha Franklin is going to sing Nessun Dorma. Everybody was like, Aretha Franklin, she a soul singer. She can't sing no opera. She came and he said, Nessun Dorma. She sang the shit out of that song.
And I was like, and she hit all the high notes.
And everybody gagged.
And she wrapped up in that damn fur.
Right. And she came up there and got that fur and she sang that song. And she sang it in Italian. And she sang part of it in English and did the rest in Italian, and the audience just gagged. They didn't even know what to do. They were so beside themselves. And she did that.
So she earned her. She has definitely earned her title.
Yes.
Queen. Period.
Right.
So I'm gonna give her that because listen, I heard Donnie Simpson talking about a song that she sang, and I heard the song, but I couldn't remember what it was actually called. He was saying it was one of the best songs ever written, and the way it was sang, he said it left an indelible print on him forever. And I cannot remember what song it was, but it was. They mentioned it yesterday on the radio when they were talking about it. I can't remember it, but it's a beautiful song. I just can't remember it. But anyway, speaking of other queens, my queen, and to all my fellow genetics,
I thought. You changed the pronunciation because when the very first show, you said it was Janetics.
I am a Janetic. I'm saying to all the Janetics.
Okay. Oh, someone's calling.
Oh, okay. Somebody's calling in?
Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Hey.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are
wonderful.
you? Who are we talking to?
Who am I talking to?
This is Dominion and Epic, and you're on the BGKH Show with Dominion and Epic.
You said this is who, and who am I talking to?
This is Dominion and Epic, and you're on the BGKH Show right now.
BGKH. Well, I was calling you because one of my customers from my job gave me this card, but it don't say nothing about what you talking about.
Did you dial the right number?
I mean, I don't know. He said it was a radio show.
This is a radio show.
Absolutely. So what's your question?
It don't sound like. What'd you say it was called again?
The BGKH Show.
Nah.
It's
he
on
gave
what?
me
Yeah,
Vox
what
Wave.
show are you looking for?
I don't know. He gave me Vox Wave. That's all I know.
So okay. So you're not sure. So let me back up. So you've called in.
Back it up.
You had a question about something. You wanted to come on the air and sing. You wanted to come on the air. What did you want to do? How can we?
Oh
help
no,
you?
I don't sing. Oh no, baby, I do not sing.
Okay. Well, what can we do for you tonight?
I'm not sure because this is the number he gave me, and this is not what he said it was. I don't know. I'm confused.
So why did you call us?
Because he told me that we was gonna have a deal. We was gonna sit down. We was gonna talk about some things on the air. But I don't sing.
Okay. So here's what we get ready to do. We're going to thank you for calling, and have a good night. Thank you. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So that was our first call.
Right, that was our first call. Oh my God, our first caller on the line.
What's the number? Where's the number? Where's the number?
It's 240-719-2560.
That's 240-719-2560. Feel free to call and ask any questions that you'd like.
Right. So anyway,
in the next 12 minutes.
So all of my genetics, I want you to rejoice.
Or genetics
or genetics, either one. But all of my genetics, I want you to rejoice. According to Billboard, August 17th, she is releasing a new single featuring Daddy Yankee, and it's going to be called Made for Now. There was actually a video that was actually done in July in Brooklyn with her, and so the song was made or produced by Harmony Samuels, who has crafted tracks for Ariana Grande, Mary J. Blige, Maroon 5, and also Jennifer Lopez. So be on the lookout for that. And it's on pre-order for Spotify as well as for iTunes as well. So that's just my plug. Ting.
That's nice.
Thank you.
That's good for her.
But anyway, let's go on to one of my favorite things. We only have a couple more minutes. But American Horror Story. Listen, season 8 is going to be everything! Okay, so September 14th is when it's coming back on, and according to the Hollywood Reporter, the name of the show is going to be American Horror Story Apocalypse. And so it has some You can look at what the story is going to be about, but I'm going to tell you it sounds like everything that it's supposed to be. If you're saying apocalypse, there's a demon child and there's the world ending and all this. Listen, but here's what I'm excited about, because this is what we know. Jessica Lange is returning and reprising her role from season 1. Now, season 1, I didn't
watch season 1 or season 2.
Season 1 was Murder House, and so she played this.
Season 2 was Coven, right?
No, that was season 3.
So I missed the first season. I watched was with the tent freak show. That was 4.
That was 4. That was after Coven.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was that the only one that I watched? Anyway, keep going.
But the first season is actually really good. Season 2 was Asylum. Mm-hmm. Season 3 was Coven. Season 4 was Freak Show. 5 was Roanoke.
What season is this?
This is season 8.
So last season was the one in the hotel.
Right, no, last season was Cult. The one before that was Hotel.
Hotel, and then the one before that was in Roanoke.
Roanoke, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, Jessica Lange is back. She's reprising her role from season 1. Now, if you remember in season 1, there were a lot of, in this ghost house, there were a lot of different spirits, and there were things that were going on, and she played a caring spirit, if I remember correctly, a caring spirit in this house. And so there were some things that happened where she wound up with this baby. So this is the crossover that Ryan Murphy's been talking about, and there's some things that are going to tie up between all these seasons, because he's supposed to link season 1, season 3, and season 4, I believe it is. Mm-hmm. But anyway, Sarah Paulson.
So season 4 is Freak Show.
There's a piece of it, yes. So there's some things. So Sarah Paulson is coming. Lost her eyes and all that good stuff.
I didn't watch. The only season I watched was Freak Show.
Okay. You really need to watch Coven, because the reads. But the reads are everything. I'm telling you.
Now I got to invest in watching a whole season of 3 whole seasons of shows.
It'll go fast. Now, as I said, she played this caring ghost. Jessica Lange did in season 1, and the baby boy that was in season 1 is actually all grown up in this season 8 and plays a major role. So there's going to be more witches from the Coven returning, including Thaisa Farmiga, I hope I pronounced her name right, Gabourey Sidibe, Lily Rabe, Frances McCrory, who is actually known as Miss Myrtle Balenciaga Snow.
Yeah, well, I know that she's not coming back because I saw her die.
Well, no, she's coming back.
She's Myrtle?
She's coming back as Myrtle. Yes. She's a witch. Come on. And even Stevie Nicks. Stevie Nicks is supposed to come back as well. So listen, I'm all for Miss Myrtle. Myrtle, come on back, girl, because I need to talk about you, but you need to hear more about this hair and everything else. Kathy Bates and Evan Peters, who is the creepiest man on the planet, but he's such a great actor and all that good stuff, but he's actually returning. And they're having a Hollywood legend, Miss Joan Collins, play his grandmother on the show.
So I'm there. I mean, anytime Joan Collins is in it, I'm there.
Joan Collins is playing as Angela Bassett, actually, who's starring in Murphy's 911, told Us Weekly that she would not be back unless they came up with some brilliant idea to include her voodoo queen, Marie Laveau. So I'm upset, but I agree with her, because if you can bring these other people back,
right,
then you can try to figure out some way to bring her back. And Marie Laveau had in Coven had she could do some things. And so I just want to figure out what they want to do. But they didn't cross her off the list. But she says she's not coming unless they do something about that. As for Lady Gaga, there's also no word of whether she was coming back. But remember, interestingly enough, her character from Roanoke was actually supposed to have been the first Supreme from Coven. So so there's a whole lot of crossover in this series. What I did also find out is that American Horror Story is slated for 10 seasons, so we have 2 more seasons after that. So what we do after that, I'm not quite sure. But I am all for it. And lastly, I'm going to give a shout out to Issa Rae, who graced the cover of Ebony. According to Bossa, they said Ebony noted that in his Instagram caption revealing her as a cover star, Rae was selected for her wit, her self-reflection to tell stories of the Black experience, sisterhood, and racial issues, and she makes it her business to empower a new generation of creatives. So I'm all for it. But you go onto the Ebony website or the Bossip.com website and check out her pictures. Phenomenal. I think she's a beautiful woman. She's intelligent. She's smart. So I'm all for it.
Yes.
So, that's all that I pretty much have to talk about.
So I have two things. One, I just finished reading the autobiography, Jennifer Lewis's autobiography, The Mother of Black Hollywood, It was very good.
Okay.
It's a lot deeper than you thought. I thought it was just going to be like a Kiki from cover to cover. It was a lot going on.
So is this a pickup read, or is this a Audible?
You can buy the book, but I had the audio book.
Okay, I think I'm gonna do the Audible.
So yeah, it was a really good read. It talks about much of it is framed around her bipolar disorder and her journey through all of that. But I mean, a lot of it is very funny as well. So I feel like you definitely want to do that.
And she was an original with Bette Midler. She was one of the original.
She wasn't an original harlot, but she was.
She wasn't
asked
original?
No, she was not an original. But she was asked to. She was a harlot. She was asked to come in as one of a group of harlots.
Gotcha.
But she was not an original harlot.
Okay.
So last thing, there's a movie that actually premiered today called Crazy Rich Asians,
Which looks funny as hell.
I'm going to go see that.
It looks
and
funny,
so it's interesting that people keep comparing it to Black Panther, not from the storyline, but from the fact that it's a movie that has a cast that is mostly that does not feature almost any white people if at all, and it's a story that traditionally Hollywood hasn't told or whatever, and I feel like it's a story that we as people of color generally should go support, because these kinds of stories are important to be told, and the same way that we want other people to support Black Panther or other stories about Black people or Latinos or Asians. I mean, we need to support one another.
I agree.
And, the more we tell these stories, it's more about what we have in common than what we have that's different. Because the story, I mean, it's a story that's age old. I mean, it's a little bit different, but, these two people are professors in New York City. She goes, she goes with him back to Singapore for the wedding of his best friend, not realizing that he is part of literally one of the richest families on the planet.
Jeez.
And hence the title Crazy Rich Asians, because they're not just rich, they are crazy rich. Jeez. And the mother, who was played by Michelle Yeoh.
Oh, I liked her. She was
Yes.
She was in the Joy Luck Club.
Yes.
And also she was in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yes, and if you watched Star Trek Discovery, she was Georgia Philippa Georgiou.
Okay.
She was the captain that got killed in the first couple of episodes, and also came back as the mirror image Emperor Georgiou.
Okay. All right.
And so she is the mother of the man who hates this essentially poor American, who was not good enough for her son. And I mean, that's like, the world's oldest story. You are not good enough for my son. We're gonna marry this, girl who's been bred for him and whatever. So I mean, it's a story that we should all be able to relate to. And it plays against these tropes that about sexuality of Asian people, particularly Asian men. Because if you've seen some of the pictures of some of the dudes in this movie,
Hot.
lots of shirtlessness.
Okay. Well, I can put that on my menu.
Things, so I feel like that might be a thing for the weekend.
Put that right on my menu.
So yeah, I feel like that's just something important for us to check out. So
Cool. I can definitely do that.
So yeah, so that was a fun little hour.
It was. I still have to check out The Equalizer and Mission Impossible. They were still on my list of things.
Yeah, I haven't seen Mission Impossible. That was something else.
Equalizer 2, I mean.
That was something else that came out. It'll come to me.
Okay. So we are kind of all out of topics to talk about. So.
Yep.
Okay. Well.
Now
So anyway.
it's time to say goodbye to all our Negro friends.
Time together. So listen, we want to thank you all for coming out tonight, but As always, the BGKH Show streams live on Wednesdays on VoxWave.com, which that young lady called in and she wanted to have a
didn't know what we
conversation.
were talking
and didn't know what we were talking about. That is from 9:15 to 10:15 p.m. Eastern and 6:15 to 7:15 p.m. Pacific. Episodes are available on YouTube every Friday. Search for Vox Power 373 and look for the BGKH Show. Ooh, with Dominion coming in the fall.
This fall, The Meg.
Fall.
That's the other movie that I want to see.
That's
the
what
movie
it
about
is?
the shark. Yes, because it is stupid. It is
Really?
going to be dumb as shit.
Did you watch Sharknado then?
No, because it's not as dumb as that.
I mean, but it was three times as dumb because there's 3 movies.
No, there's like 6. There's like 4 or 5. I feel like this is Sharknado 6. I'm being serious. I'm not joking to you. This is like Sharknado 6 that's out.
Okay, all right. Anyway, coming in the fall 2018, we will have a live studio audience, and we're looking forward to that.
I am going to pull out the shoulder pads and the Oprah wig and be in the audience. It's like, caller, listen, what did she call? Caller, you're on the line. What do you say?
So listen, if you're looking to get in contact with me, you can check me out on Twitter at EpicOnyx1. You can check me out on Instagram at IamEpicOnyx. And on Facebook, you can check me out at EpicOnyx. So, Dominion, where can people get in touch with you at?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DomOnyx, on Facebook at DomOnyx, Facebook.com/DomOnyx, and on my website at www.domonyx.com.
Okay. That pretty much is it for the evening. It was a fun show, yeah. I felt like I just talked the whole show, though.
But that's how I feel all the time, too, so that's why I wanted you to...
Oh, so that's what he talked about? Is you just...
No, because I wanted you to feel,
we'll talk about this off air.
No, I mean, I was trying to be altruistic because I wanted you to feel like you had an equal opportunity to lead the discussions instead of me always taking charge and like sort of being the voice throughout most of the shows.
Now you're the voice.
It is Dominion and Epic. It's like Diana Ross and the Supremes.
Thank you all for tuning in tonight. Thank you. We're going to land this plane. Thank you.
It's Beyonce.
Thank you.
And them.
Thank you. Have a good night, you all. Thank you.
It's Dawn.
Cue the music, please.
And
Thank
in
you.
Vogue.